Have you ever gone to your fridge, opened up the door, and then all of a sudden a bad smell hits you right across the face? Pow! Oh, that's stanky. All right, there's no doubt that bad leftovers will smell that bad.
He stinks and I don't like him.
But you know what also leaves a bad taste in my mouth? Bad financial advice. But not the bad financial advice that comes from your in-laws or your co-workers. No, we're talking about the bad financial advice that comes from personal finance experts. So today I'm going to share what is 5 common pieces of financial advice that experts say that is just that bad. We're gonna find out what those are and more right now. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel Wealth Hacker Labs. This is the channel dedicated to teaching new ways to grow wealth that is not taught to you in schools or by your parents. I am your gracious host, Jeff Rose, and let's just call it for what it is. There is such thing as good advice. For example, opening a Roth IRA or subscribing to this channel. And there's also such thing as bad advice. And that could be when a friend suggests that you try rollerblading for the first time. And having been a financial planner for over 16 years, I have heard my fair share of horrible financial advice.
It's horrible.
And this is not just from the financial experts. I mean, I've heard it from anyone and everyone. But today I want to highlight what are 5 pieces of financial advice, common financial advice that you hear experts often share that is just bad. All right, let's go ahead and break this down and find out what this bad financial advice is. The first piece of advice that you hear often, and you'll hear it more and you'll hear it again, and that is never use credit cards. Now, there are a lot of financial experts that preach this. I mean, they preach it like it's the word. And there is one person that talks about it all the time. And without naming names, like this is somebody that is really passionate about this advice. Seriously, Jeff, you're gonna call me out again? I know. He keeps making these cameo appearances in my videos. He just likes to show up, what can I say? But no, Dave definitely is all about no credit cards. He wants you to pay cash. He wants you to use the envelope method. He wants you to use your debit card. And I totally get it. As of right now, there's over $13 trillion of consumer debt that all Americans possess. And on top of that, the average American has 4 credit cards with almost $9,000 of credit card debt. So is it really bad financial advice? So early in my 20s, this was not bad financial advice. In fact, this was the advice that I needed to hear. I had almost $30,000 of credit card and student loan debt when I shouldn't have had any debt at all. But after paying all of that off and finally understanding how to manage my money well, now everything that we purchase is through our credit cards. And we have over 4 different credit cards that we use on a consistent basis. At the time of this recording, I have over 300,000 Southwest points and over 500,000 Chase reward points. And these are points that we use. As a family of 6, we travel a lot. So we fly a lot, we stay in hotels, and we use these points. Actually, my wife and I are getting ready to go to Cancun, holla, for a little mommy-daddy time, and guess what? We are using our points. Early on, we were able to take our entire family to Jamaica utilizing all of our credit card points. If you blindly accept this advice and don't take the time to do the research to see what all the different options that exist with credit cards, specifically reward points, you just don't know what you're missing out on. Another blogger that I know that's also a world traveler, her name is Holly Johnson, and she has literally traveled the world utilizing all of her credit card reward points. But taking it one step further, she also was able to use her credit card to pay off her mortgage and then use those points to travel the country with her family. I mean, that's where you talk about some wealth hacking right there. I know many of you are watching this and you're saying to yourself, yeah, Jeff, but I don't even like to travel, so I just want to pay cash and use the envelope method. I get it. Many of us don't want to be world travelers. We like just to stay home and stay in our comfort place.
There's no place like home.
And for you people, yes, that's right, you people, there is a credit card for you too. You can go to nerdwallet.com. They have a list of all these cashback credit cards that you can use and you just use the card and you can get up to 5% cash back on different categories. So you're spending money and you're getting cash back. Do you see how that works? You use this and you get this. You use this and you get this. Oh, that's how it works? I still think you're crazy. All right, moving on to bad advice number 2. On this one, sorry, Susie, we gotta call you out here. Money expert and former TV host Susie Orman, and go ahead and just ruin the surprise. Susie does make another appearance on this video. She had this to say regarding wasting money on conveniences. Stop leasing cars, stop eating out, stop doing the things that's wasting your money and makes your life easier. Because in the long run, it's going to make it harder. Oh, Susie, bless your heart. First, let me say, I get it. A lot of people do waste money on conveniences that they don't need or they can't afford. But as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and also a father of 4 children, like, I totally get that time equals money. Earlier in my life, I couldn't afford to waste or spend money on conveniences. But as my business grew, as my family grew, I realized that I wasn't wasting money or spending money on conveniences. No, in fact, I was actually investing money to have more time, to make more money, to spend more time with my family. I can remember earlier in my life owning a riding lawnmower, and I was that dad that was cutting grass with my kids riding on my lap. But after having my second son and then my third son, and then my kids started to get involved in sports, it became much more difficult to find time to cut the grass. And then whenever I did have time, I realized it was pulling me away from the things I really enjoyed doing. And that was playing catch with them and playing basketball or whatever sport activity that they wanted to play. So that began a process of starting to hire out different services, different conveniences, so I had more time to do the things that I wanted to do. Fast forward to modern day, and I'm all about paying for conveniences. I only have so much time in the day, so if I can find somebody that's going to help clean our house, help out with our laundry, watch our kids whenever mommy and daddy need some mommy-daddy time, or having our groceries delivered, having food delivered via DoorDash or Grubhub. The list goes on and on because I realize I only have so much time to work on my business, spend time with my family, so I don't want to waste my time. I would rather not waste my money, but invest my money and buy my time back. Bad money advice number 3, and this is always get the 401k match. I know, I'm going here again. Now I'm not gonna spend too much time on this piece of advice because I already did an entire video with my good buddy Dave back there. But here's the gist. Often you hear you always have to do the 401k if they offer the free match because you can't turn down free money. Now that's all good and well, but the reality is that if you actually knew what you were doing and you could choose your own investments and take advantage of the Roth IRA with its tax-free money, well, as we like to say here on the Wealth Hacker channel, that is money in the bank. I know I'm kind of leaving you hanging on this one, but that just gives you more reason to check out that other video. You know what I'm saying? Go check it out. Dave wants you to. All right, bad money advice number 4, and this one isn't just bad, it's actually laughable. And this is that you should never, ever get a tax refund, or that tax refunds are evil.
So you think I'm evil, Bosco?
I'm certain of it.
Okay, remember our friend Susie Orman who made an appearance earlier in this video? Well, she's back, and this is what Susie has to say about tax refunds.
Why would you want to get a tax refund? It's not as if the government pays you interest on that money, $100 or $200 a month, to do all kinds of things with that you could create more for yourself. But no, you just love that you're going to get this tax refund. Biggest waste of money you will ever get.
Susie. Oh, that's just so funny. Like, okay, so I get it. So the IRS is not your friend, you know, they're not going to look out for you if you scratch the IRS's back. It's not like they're going to scratch yours. Hey, IRS, I got this itch right here. Will you, right there, can you help? Come on, IRS, help me out here. But the way they make it sound, it just seems like you are giving up so much interest, so much free money to the IRS that you should be putting in your pocket. But let's go ahead and break out some numbers. According to Bankrate.com, the average tax refund that an American receives is $1,949. So we'll go ahead and round that up to $2,000. So let's say that you took that $2,000 and you put it into a high yield savings account, and you open that account with Marcus at Goldman Sachs that's currently paying you 1.7%. If you had that $2,000 in a high yield savings account for 1 year, the interest that you would have made is $34. That's 3 10s and 4 1s, $34. So that means that the average American gave up $34 because they got a tax refund. Oh, the travesty. But here's the reality. According to GoBankingRates.com, over 69% of Americans do not have at least $1,000 in their savings account. So if getting a tax refund is the only way that they can actually save money, then so be it. Because chances are people were not getting that tax refund and they were taking that money out of their paycheck. It's not like they're actually going to invest it because, you know, people kind of struggling with their money stuff. So are tax refunds really that evil? No. Sorry, Susie. All right, bad advice number 5, and that is renting is throwing away money. And another way you can look at this is that your home is your most valuable asset. And I get it, if you had a balance sheet and you've been paying off your mortgage for a number of years, your home might look like your biggest asset. But whenever it comes to retire and you need to start drawing money, drawing an income stream, unless you're renting out your house on Airbnb, then your house ain't producing no money. When you rent, you don't have to worry about mortgage interest or property taxes or maintenance on your home. I witnessed firsthand clients that couldn't accept a job offer because they couldn't sell their home. The home that they bought dropped in value tremendously and they were so underwater that they couldn't afford to sell it. Where money experts would argue that renting is throwing away money, I would say that paying rent means that you don't have an expensive, illiquid asset that would prevent you from taking a lucrative job offer in another market. It gives you options, it gives you flexibility. And the same reason why you have cash in an emergency fund for that liquidity, the same thing can be said about paying rent. Living out the American dream and owning a home doesn't work or apply to everybody in this day and age. So do not blindly follow this bad money advice. If you rent and it's the best money decision for you right now in your current situation, then you own that. Don't own a house, own that you are renting, and just let these money experts yap away because you do you. Which one of these 5 pieces of bad money advice have you been burned on? Or maybe these are pieces of advice that you agree with and you don't like this video at all. Either way, I want to hear in the comments below. We are here trying to accelerate people's wealth building, and the only way to do that is not conform to the status quo. We have to think different. We have to be different. That is what wealth hacking and being a wealth hacker is all about. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't liked it, you know what to do. But until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.